job you did, both nursing this man, but raising him to be such an incredible person. So I've been Baron's buddy for a couple of decades now, and it's been a truly valuable thing for me. And so Jen, I'm so excited for you for what you have ahead, and I want to share a little bit of my perspective of what's been so phenomenal. And I think for me, it's, all friends are extremely valuable. There's all of that, getting to hang out, telling jokes, and that stuff. But I think the value in this front is extremely educational. And I've learned so much, not necessarily from Baron, but through Baron, or with Baron, or because of Baron. And it'll be interesting to see if other friends have the same perspective, but I'm going to speak candidly about mine. And that is that getting to be your friend has been basically having a front row seat at a constant series of experiments. And it's really, it's pretty fascinating. I think it's almost as if you had the luxury to be aboard, like Darwin's ship when he sailed to the Galapagos. And you're like, what an honor it must have been for all those people who were going to ride alongside and see him, do his science. But I think it's even more interesting because whereas that was sort of, a biologist doing observational science, Baron was a far more sort of rudimentary physicist, kind of like always exploring reactions of things. Like, if I do X, what will Y? And so to be able to ride alongside during that, not to say that I didn't have challenges when you might end up being the experiment, but there were so many things that were so fascinating to watch, and I don't even know if you see it this way, whether you're experimenting or this was just the things that were happening, but whether it's, we'd be on the 7th hole as like 14-year-old kids of a golf course with like some random 40-year-old guy, and Baron would make, meow cat noises behind his golf swing. And it's like, there's no one else here who could possibly be making the noises. And it's sort of like, well, if X happens, how will this 40-year-old man do? And so to be there witnessing that, and you're like, well, this is fascinating. And, I remember when I went, we went out to different high schools, and Baron would come visit me with friends, and, he'd get after someone with like some random nickname that wasn't even sensible. I think Sam and Jeff remember that time with the Snow Pants.
Snow Pants.
And just got after this kid, calling him Snow Pants for no reason. But it's like, why? I was like, well, if one calls someone Snow Pants consistently through the evening, what will happen? And it was just such I think the last sort of experiment I'll mention was that I grew up in a very old house, similar to an old house like this, and there was a hole in the floor. And Baron found that it was actually an old socket that had an open wire, and if you stuck your finger in it, it would shock you. And he got such great joy from seeing people stick their finger in the socket. And not just from them getting shocked, but from watching people fake getting shocked. Because you could kind of tell who actually actually got shocked. And my father found out we were doing it, and he was really mad because he was like, it's so stupid to stick your hand into a socket. But two, he was sort of dumbfounded on why would anyone be interested in this experiment. And I think there was a lot of learnings being thrown off those different experiments, but less important than any of the individual learnings of what Y might be in result of X happening was this notion that the world was something to experiment on, and not just something to kind of navigate or something to react against. And that sort of like proactive approach to life has been such an amazing, probably the greatest lesson from witnessing all this stuff. And so, Jen, I'm so happy for you to get to participate in sort of a lab with Baron as you sort of take that approach in the world where it's like something to explore and something that's yours to engage with and not be at the whim of, which I think is a fundamental thing. And I think for Baron, I'm so, I'm married. I've been married for a while. I got a couple of kids. And I think marriage is the coolest laboratory and the most different. And I think as opposed to the traditional experiments learning about the world, I think marriage is sort of a laboratory where you learn a lot about yourself. And I think the opportunity to be with a match or a partner who you have that commitment with, that you guys are so strong in your relationship and so strong as equals, where you get to have that sort of steady environment to learn about each other and learn about yourselves and grow into your potential is just the most wonderful blessing. And so I'm so happy for you both. And I'll just end Jen sharing a little bit of kind of the conversations I had with Barron during his sort of navigation towards the proposal. And for me, I was just excited that he was marrying someone strong enough to handle the sort of being in this lab, right? That you're going to be, like I learned, like I had to figure out what my why was going to be when Barron did X, and you'll have to figure that out yourself. I thought it would get into a taser or something. But Barron's reasoning, at one point he shared, he was just like, flat out, she's the most wonderful human I've ever known. And it was just such an awesome thing to see him kind of arrive at that understanding and then know the path forward. And so I guess I'll raise my glass here and we can have a toast to the wonderful path ahead for you as individuals and for your marriage. And it's such an honor for all of us to be here to celebrate with you. Cheers.
Wow. Love her. Love her. Benny.